We're so Hey y'all, SnarkyJay cosplay here. I really didn't think that I was gonna have to make this follow-up video, but you know, the devil never rests, and neither does Kathleen Kennedy. So a couple days ago, we got some news from The Puck that Kathleen Kennedy was going to be leaving Lucasfilm and leaving Star Wars alone at the end of the year. And some people, holy sh**, she's finally leaving! Went totally off the rails. Her reign of terror seems to finally be coming to an end. Just making videos, excited. And genuinely, I feel like celebrating. I've got the champagne on ice downstairs. Honestly, to be fair, there was a lack of sanity. My God, I feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. Maybe even a lack of decorum when it came to some of these videos. We could be totally done with getting the kind of bullshit that Kathleen Kennedy signs off on. I mean, really, if we were gonna be level-headed about the whole thing, I mean, the franchise could really be saved. It should have been analyzed with a little more caution. The idea of this, I have goosebumps. I have goosebumps right now. Okay, I get it. All right, I f***ed up. I got excited because I thought maybe this woman is done destroying one of my favorite franchises on the planet. And I was making videos because you know what? I don't get to be optimistic very often because Hollywood continuously fucks everything I love. I was excited. I thought Disney would finally be done sodomizing the Star Wars franchise, but no, Kathleen Kennedy wants to play petty and she wants to stick around. So yeah, that's the news today, is that Kathleen Kennedy is not leaving Star Wars, and she's not leaving it anytime soon because she plans on sticking. Let's just analyze this. So Deadline interviewed her about this whole thing. There's just so much concerning shit about this entire interview. I'm telling you right now, there's no indication that this woman will ever get her banshee talons out of this goddamn franchise. This is going to continue long after we're done complaining about it. It's never gonna stop. The franchise is So let's just analyze this one big chunk statement. This is directly regarding the rumors, and it's the one that's being shared everywhere, but I want to get further in depth on what she said because there's so many parts of it, again, that are just terrible. The truth is, and I want to just say loud and clear, I am not retiring. I will never retire from movies. I will die making movies. So you know we're doomed for at least another 30 years because somehow the people that are the worst end up living like forever. That is the first thing that's important to say. I am not retiring. Again, she's just beating it in. What's happening at Lucasfilm is I have been talking for quite some time with Bob and Alan, love those guys, about what eventual succession might look like. We have an amazing bench of people here. No, you don't. And we have every intention of making an announcement months or a year down the road. We are in lockstep as to what that's going to be, and I am continuing. Fantastic news, fantastic. I'm producing the Mandalorian movie right now, so you know that's gonna be a piece of shit. And I'm also producing Sean Levy's movie, which is after that. Another piece of shit. Don't even bother. So I'm continuing to stay at Lucasfilm and looking very thoughtfully with Bob and Alan as to who's stepping in. So that is all underway, and we have every right to make that announcement when we want to make it. So I like that it's not just, hey, I'm staying and I'm continuing to up further movies because my hands are too far into the mix of this franchise. I'm not done destroying it, but it's also, we have every right to make this announcement. Like, that is so f***ing petty. You know why? Because she heard all of us. They heard us. They sensed the disturbance in the Force, as if thousands of voices suddenly screamed in joy, and now we're silenced by this bullshit. Then the interviewer asked if an exec like Chief Creative Officer Dave Filoni, Mr. Self-Insert Ahsoka-obsessed guy, they asked if he would be good. She said, I can't say who it is because there's an internal process that goes on inside a large corporation and a publicly held company. You know, things that our small Star Wars reading minds would never understand. As to how we go about making deals, finalizing decisions, and making announcements, there's nothing unusual about that. Because again, she wants to make sure that we're not disrespecting her and her bullshit legacy of destroying a franchise for 13 years! So then they proceed, this flurry of press coverage, it sounds like chaos. What's the reality? Chaos? There has never been any chaos because we know exactly what the plan is. Oh? Like how you knew exactly what the plan was with the sequel trilogy? Huh? Like that? You never had a plan. And we've been talking about it, as I said, nonstop for the last couple of years because for obvious reasons, I'm not going to be here forever. George asked me 13 years ago to step in. I'm sure he regrets that every day. I personally would like to have a stern talking to with George Lucas about this bullshit. And now I'm looking at who's going to replace me. And as I said, we have a bunch of people internally, oh, you know, business jargon, whatever the f. The job has also grown since I stepped in. Quite frankly, I think the job has grown, but not in the way she'd like to say it's grown. It's grown not in like, oh my God, we have this great, fantastic business, because I've grown it since I took over. No, it's grown in that now it's not just continuing a loyal fan base that was created over 50 years ago. Now it's actively trying to win over the people whose relationships you destroyed with the franchise over the period of 13 years. So yeah, the job has grown in that regard. I guess she's right. Apparently, they'll probably make an announcement months or a year out. And this is the kicker. This is why we're f***ed, guys. And I have every intention of sticking around to help that person be successful. I'm already producing the Mandalorian movie, and Sean Levy's is after that. So again, she already talked about the Mandalorian. We already know. She wants to make sure that we know that she's in on this. And quite frankly, I'm grateful because now I know not to buy tickets and not to get excited. But the best part, I want to talk about the fact that she says she's sticking around. She is sticking around to help that person be successful. And what a great example of success she's been when she is the first person behind the first Star Wars movie to not make real money in theaters. Thanks for Solo, which flopped. Thanks for the sequel trilogy, which destroyed the hopes and dreams of Star Wars fans in Star Wars. What are you gonna help the next guy be successful with? Are you gonna teach him how to hunt down former assistants to make garbage, like hiring the next Leslie Headland? She's gonna stick around and help the next person be successful. What that means is I'm gonna stick around and indoctrinate the next person who's here. In case they're already not one of my personal cronies, I want to make sure that they know the message, the agendas, and the ideas that I have, so that when I step down, when Kathleen Kennedy leaves, that Kathleen Kennedy has left a stamp on Star Wars, and despite the fact that she will no longer be in charge, never leaves. That stain will stay forever. So then they got a little more personal, and they asked her, the connotation is you're being pushed aside in need of being replaced, though that's not what I've heard. So obviously they're on her side on this one. She says, it is absolutely not the case. It could not be further from the truth. And everything that we do inside of Lucasfilm is in lockstep and in communication with Disney. Yeah, that's why it's such a cluster. Go look at how well Marvel is doing. Kevin Feige should be next. We all know what's going on. The communication has been completely collaborative, as you would expect. God, she's good with PR. This is a big piece of business for them. It's losing money and losing fans. Not even your toys are making money anymore. And they want to empower me to help them make that decision and that choice. Wow. Gotta love empowerment. They go on and they talk about how much tougher is the challenge of so much public scrutiny and second guessing by the rabid fan base. That's what I love, ladies and gentlemen, is that we are so continuously referred to as rabid, like we're some foaming at the mouth heathens hiding in the corners because we have nothing better to do. We're just sitting in our basements and molesting statues of Boba Fett. He's fine. Nobody touches him in any inappropriate way here. The point is that they just seek to villainize us. That's the best part, is that our passion as a fan base kept Star Wars alive. We are the reason that they bought Star Wars, because they knew that we were here and we were waiting. Everything they did, which supposedly should have been for us, was essentially against us, and everything they do now is to try and do away with the old guard of the fan base, you know, because we're all misogynistic bigots and racists. They want to do away with everybody that's been here to serve some modern audience that doesn't exist. That's why their stuff doesn't get watched. That's why the Acolytes viewership numbers were because the modern audience that they want to serve doesn't exist. So what do? They villainize us. Oh, the rabid fan base. They're so toxic. They're so angry. Maybe we have reasons for being all of these things because you guys destroyed a franchise and you're happy about it. Kathleen's response to that is about exactly what you would expect. It doesn't matter if you're doing Star Wars or anything else. What's troubling and frustrating is that our development gets scrutinized, and I don't know any other production company where their development gets scrutinized like that. I don't know, look at DC, Marvel, anything else, everybody gets scrutinized. It's very hard for anything to happen within Star Wars without some aspect of it becoming public before you even want it to become public. I highly doubt that you guys don't want to go public, okay? At the end of the day, our rage keeps people interested in this bullshit anyway. She goes on, yeah, that's a tricky one because a lot of the scrutiny around Star Wars and the negativity has been about development. Of course we're gonna develop lots of different things with an understanding that not everything gets made. Right, because it's all a failure. Because, you know, you hired an activist to make a Rey movie that's definitely not gonna happen. So at the end of the day, when they continuously announce projects that eventually get canned, it's a sign that your production company is inherently flawed. There is something within you guys that is wrong. So even when you hand the reins to a Lucasfilm protege, it sure sounds like you're gonna be in that world for 8 or 10 years. She said, I don't know if I'm gonna say that, but yeah, it's possible. This is just what the franchise is now. In my other video, I thought, oh, maybe we'll see a renaissance. It's not gonna happen. Because you know how we got the renaissance? Eventually, the bubonic plague stopped. The rats died. They found solutions. And then eventually, the people that had been weakened by the bubonic plague eventually, like, died out as a result of random famines and shit. I took a medieval European history class, so I know entirely too much about the plague, but eventually the plague died. And that's how we got the Renaissance, because people were like, oh my God, we should start drawing things. We should start thinking about God and ourselves, and we should start making all kinds of beautiful works. That's how it happened, because the plague died. The plague isn't going anywhere. Star Wars is covered in buboes, which is why we call it the bubonic plague. The buboes are the sores that would form on the skin. It's covered in it. It's done. It's tarnished. It's over. It's over. The bums lost, Mr. Lebowski. The bums will always lose. Look at me, I'm making niche movie references because I'm upset. That's how upset I am, is that now I have to reference the big Lebowski because she pissed me off.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Now that I've calmed myself down, I'm gonna piss myself off again with this last bit. They asked her if she had any regrets as to any of this stuff so far. This is her response. No, I mean, far from regrets. I've loved the challenge of stepping into this space, and literally space, and being with Star Wars over these years. Taking on the challenges of expanding on Star Wars. I find it fascinating that she uses the word expanding. We had an expansive universe with Star Wars, the extended universe, all that kinds of legends, and she and everybody with Disney destroyed it, decanonized it, and made their own canon that absolutely sucked. So interesting that she thinks that counts as expanding. I've loved working with Disney, and the company has been fantastic in its support of the IP. Sure, it was fun, and then they made the sequel trilogy and f***ed it all up. Get ready for this one, folks. They've expanded things in ways I don't think George could have even imagined. No, you're right. I don't think George thought he would ever see his franchise be sodomized for billions of people to see. I don't think he sold Star Wars with the idea that that was gonna happen. I don't think that he thought characters like Boba Fett were gonna be emasculated and replaced, and then those replacements were gonna be emasculated. I don't think he ever thought that Luke Skywalker was gonna turn into an old crotchety motherfucker touching cow titties on some island just to disintegrate in the middle of nowhere. I don't think he ever saw Princess Leia Organa floating through space to her death needlessly, and I sure as hell don't think he ever saw swashbuckling smuggler Han Solo getting stabbed by his son who looks like an oriental cat. And I say this as somebody who loves Adam Driver. I'm just saying it shouldn't have happened. I've never been an executive before. Go figure. I'm a filmmaker through and through. Not even sure that's true. I even approached the executive role as a filmmaker. I love working with filmmakers. That's my lifeblood. It's what I enjoy more than anything. And being able to do that inside of Star Wars has been really fun because we have people who step into Star Wars who are diehard fans, and we hate them. And we have people who step into Star Wars who never really knew the IP that well. Yeah, and then we hire them. So the diehard fans we spit on and we mock, and we have our people make songs about them. The people that don't know the IP, they get jobs and billions of dollars to make shows. 2 final questions. Will you step out as Lucasfilm boss this year? We really don't know at this stage. There's so much going on, Mike. So much going on. I don't know, as in she's not gonna leave. She's not. When it happens, who'll make that decision? Because you would think that, I don't know, 13 years of what could almost be called abject failures, you'd think that, you know, somebody would have to answer for that, right? Like, somebody's gonna make this decision for her. Me! It's my decision this is 100% my decision. Meaning, she saw the fan reactions of those diehard fans that they claim to be excited about. She saw our celebrations. We were all ecstatic. It's my decision, as in, f you. You're wrong. I don't give a shit. I'm not getting pushed out of Lucasfilm. You can all go f yourselves. That's exactly what that means. End of article. Well, yeah, we're f***ed. I mean, it is what it is, right? She's not leaving. And not only is she not leaving, but she's digging in her heels even harder, to the point where she's like, yeah, I could be here pulling strings for another 8 to 10 years. I plan on training the next guy to follow in my footsteps and make more Star Wars that just blows. So yeah, needless to say, this week has been an emotional roller coaster, worse than my ex took me on, because I experienced probably one of the greatest joys of my life thinking that Star Wars was gonna come back. And now we're in the pit. We went from the pinnacle to the pit, and this is just a load of shit. I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but it did. We're f***ed, guys. Honestly, kiss Star Wars goodnight. Just give your Boba Fett's and whoever you have a kiss on the forehead and just say goodbye, because it's done. And that's all from me. I've been SnarkyJay. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. For more SnarkyJay, be sure to check me out on Instagram. And if you'd like to support me, this channel, and my content creation, do check out and consider subscribing to my Patreon for exclusive photo shoot sets and cosplay content. I'll add links to all of those in the description below. And let me know your thoughts on Kathleen Kennedy staying in Star Wars in the comments below.